We were on. जय श्री गणेशा विघ्ननाश गजानना। जय श्री गणेशा विघ्ननाश गजानना। अखिलेश्वरा साई नारायणा करुणाकरा अखिलेश्वरा साई अखिलेश्वरा साई नारायणा अखिलेश्वरा
Sairam, Om Sairam, everyone.
عايزة إسبانية. Reading again, I forgot about
Om
what?
Saram, can we please ask that you all mute yourselves and put your cameras off? We're going to start in a little while. Please, can we ask for you to mute yourself and put your cameras off? And we will be starting shortly. Thank you, kids.
You must keep it on silent mute, so you don't anything.
What, Mom? I am on mute.
Om Saram, everyone that's joining. Thank you so much for joining our wonderful virtual tour of Prashanti Nilayam tonight. We've got three minutes to go, so please, if we can humbly request just for the smooth operation of our tour, please put yourself on mute and please put off your cameras as per the request that's presenting now. We will advise the children when to put on their cameras and when to unmute. So for now, let's just be all on mute and all our cameras off, just so that we can start our tour, and then we'll advise you guys when we're ready. So just hold on tight, kids. We're ready to take our tour to Prashanti in a little while. So hold on tight, and we're going to be starting shortly. Loving Sairam's children and parents and elders and families of our loving Sai centers around Pretoria, around Gauteng, and even as far as KZN. Thank you so much, children, for joining us today on our wonderful virtual tour of Swami's Abode of Peace, Prashanti Nilayam. You know, we went on many virtual tours. Just this year, we went to the Sri Radha Radhanath temple in Chatsworth. But what a wonderful tour to go to our Guru and our Lord's home and abode, where he set up for us. So tonight's tour is about you, the kids who haven't experienced Prashanti Nilayam, to actually go and experience it for the first time tonight via this virtual tour. So with that, children, we are going to still request you guys to please unmute yourself. Please mute yourself and please keep your cameras off for the meantime. We will start our video. We will play the virtual tour. Then directly after the virtual tour is done, we will then request you guys to do that, to put on your cameras, etc. But for now, please put your cameras off. Please put your audios on mute, everybody, just so that the audio of our presentation of the virtual tour comes through nice and clear for everybody. We humbly request that. And with that, let us get started. I will start us off with 3 Oms and the Gayatri Mantra, and then we will get ready. Om. 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 Om Bhurбhuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurбhuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Again, children, loving Sairams, please do sit back and enjoy our wonderful tour of Prashanti Nilayam. Just to give you a little bit of background, the video is going to be about 22 minutes long. So it's a video of the ashram as well as Puttaparthi, where the ashram is. Then directly after that, we've got 2 of our wonderful Sai family, or my Sai family that will now become yours, that will then had experiences in the ashram that they will then take note of that when we actually go through. So directly after the video, we're going to then ask our guest speakers to take us on this virtual tour. Just one more time, kids, please can I ask everybody to please put your cameras off and please keep your cell phones on mute and your tablets and PCs on mute. And as soon as the videos are done, we will then let you guys know when to come off mute and when to put your cameras on, etc. But for now, let's sit back and enjoy this wonderful video that we're putting together for everybody. Okay, kids, so do enjoy the video and we will chat to you in 23 minutes time.
When the word spirituality or God is mentioned, the first country that comes to mind is India. Century after century, India indeed has been the chosen land for many a divine incarnation. There are places in this country which are spiritual powerhouses. One such super sanctuary of peace is Prashanti Nilayam in the town of Puttaparthi in South India. It is the abode of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Named by him, Prashanti Nilayam literally means the place pulsating with supreme peace. Thousands throng this spiritual town every day, some as spiritual seekers, some seeking solutions for their varied problems, some as curious visitors, and for some, it is their wholesome holiday destination to rejuvenate their body, mind, and soul. Prashanti Nilayam is open for all. It celebrates and welcomes people of all races, all lands, and all languages. It is located in the Anantapur district of Andhra Pradesh. This railway station is well connected to all major cities of India. Once you alight, there are a host of buses or three-wheeler auto rickshaws to bring you to Prashanti Nilayam, which is 9 kilometers away. As you make this journey, the first imposing edifice to greet your eyes is a unique super speciality hospital. This was built in 1991. Here, advanced cardiac, ortho, ophthalmic, urology, and plastic surgeries are done absolutely free of cost. The Sri Satya Sai Airport too was built in 1991, 4 years before the railway station. It is generally used for the private planes of dignitaries. As you cross the Ganesha statue at the Enumalapalli cross, soon the Vidyagiri road begins. This is the main road, on either side of which are various educational institutions. But before this is the Sri Satya Sai Gokulam that Bhagwan started in 1975. It has close to 100 milk-yielding cows who nourish the health of hundreds of students and devotees. The friendly staff at the Gokulam will let you visit some of these cows if you wish to. Now as you begin your journey on the Vidyagiri main road, you cannot miss the architecture of the Music Museum of the Sri Satya Sai Mirpuri College of Music. This museum is not for visitors. Still, you will delight in its enchanting facade. This college offers multiple courses in Carnatic and Hindustani music. The next building on the left, with several extensions, is the Sri Satya Sai Hostel for senior boys. Each one lives for the other, and all live for God, is the philosophy of this home of students pursuing from undergraduate to postgraduate, PhD, and postdoctoral programs. Adjacent to this is the Srimati Ishwaramma Higher Secondary School. Named after Bhagwan Baba's mother, it caters to the primary and secondary school education needs of the local children and hence has no hostel. With a huge engraving of Lord Dakshinamurti, this building in the same line is the Sri Satya Sai Higher Secondary School for boys from grade 8 to 12. In 2014, it was adjudged one of the top 10 CBSE schools of India. Behind the school building is the famous Hillview Stadium, which in 1997 hosted an international cricket match between India 11 and World 11. Apart from a world-class cricket field, it has a spacious football ground. This is where the sports and cultural meets of the Sai educational institutions happen on January 11th every year. In the pinnacle of the stadium is the 65-feet Hanuman, which is an engineering marvel. Below this, you have imposing statues of several divine incarnations representing all major faiths of the world. In the northwest corner of the stadium is the Chaitanya Jyoti, a much sought-after place of interest for every pilgrim. Its design is a fusion of ancient and modern world architecture. In it, you have the life, mission, and message of Bhagwan Baba through images, graphics, animations, audio, and video presentations. Timing 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday holiday. Besides the Chaitanya Jyoti, the building with the bewitching statue of little Krishna is the primary wing of Sri Satya Sai Higher Secondary School. This is a school cum hostel for girls studying in grade 1 to grade 12 and for boys from grade 1 to grade 7. On the other side of the road, the series of buildings with statues of Goddess Saraswati and Ganesha are part of the Prashanti Nilayam campus of Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, a deemed to be university. All the undergraduate, postgraduate, doctoral programs, as well as professional courses in this college are offered absolutely free. An integral part of the college campus is the indoor stadium, which is a sportsman's delight, with international standard facilities for students in pursuit of badminton, table tennis, volleyball, basketball, squash, and lawn tennis. Though the facilities here are meant only for the students, visitors can spend time in the commemorative building of the stadium, which gives an overview of Bhagwan's education mission. Timings 10 to 11:30 a.m. on all days. Right beside this is the very special resting place of Sai Geeta, Baba's pet elephant. The stories of her devotion to Baba are legendary. For every devotee, she remains as an eternal inspiration. In the same compound is a Sri Satya Sai Space Theatre, inaugurated by Bhagwan in 1985. It is part of the university, but is open for visitors. Needless to say, like most services in Puttaparthi, it is free. Timings 9:30 a.m. on all days. The second arch marks the end of this stretch of road which houses all the schools and college buildings, and therefore aptly called the Vidyagiri Road. As you leave the Vidyagiri complex, a road on the left takes you to a historic site wherein there is a huge banyan tree. It is the Vatavriksha, a boon for spiritual aspirants, because in 1959, Baba installed under this tree a mystic copper plate with supernatural powers to help spiritual seekers in their meditation. As you go up further on this road, the white and grey structure with Shikhara style of architecture is the Sanatana Samskruti Museum. It houses the main precepts of the major religions of the world, alongside the life and teachings of many sages, saints, and spiritual masters. Adjacent to this museum is the elegant administrative block of the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. The Chancellor's room in this building contains many precious memorabilia related to Baba's earthly sojourn. This, however, is not open to general public, but to special interest groups with prior permission. Beside this is the Sri Satya Sai Archives, inaugurated in November 2018. Inside it are scientifically designed exclusive vaults for various types of media: audio, video, photos, documents, and so on. This is the central storehouse of all archival material concerning Baba's life, mission, and teachings. On the way down from the hill to one side is the Sai Srinivas Guest House, meant for highly esteemed dignitaries like presidents and prime ministers. On the other side is the Sri Satya Sai General Hospital, one of the earliest institutions set up by Bhagwan. Inaugurated in 1956 as a rudimentary healthcare facility, it has grown over the years to have 9 departments and over 125 beds catering to all primary and secondary healthcare needs of the rural population around Puttaparthi. All services here too have been offered free of cost right from the beginning. In the compound of this hospital is a serene shrine dedicated to Shirdi Sai. Along the way, we pass by the bus stand, which has regular buses to Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Anantapur, Chennai, and a host of other towns and cities on a daily basis. There is also an extension counter of the Indian Railways at the bus stand. The entrance to the Prashanti Nilayam ashram is just a few meters away. This is the eastern gate and the main entrance to the ashram for all the pilgrims. As you go down the road comes the huge Gopuram, the ceremonial entrance of the ashram. This gate is called Gopuram Gate and is used largely for vehicular entrance into the ashram. Before we go into the ashram, let's explore a little the village of Puttaparthi. The Prashanti Nilayam township came into being in 1950. The ashram then was in the outskirts of the village, but now the village has grown into a bustling international pilgrim center. The main attractions on this side of Puttaparthi are the historic temples, the oldest one being the Satyamma temple. This shrine is dedicated to the village goddess Satyamma or Satyabhama. Another old place of worship for the villagers is the Venugopala Swami temple. This one is dedicated to Lord Krishna. Puttaparthi was earlier called Gollapalli, as it was abundant with cows and cowherds, reminiscent of the times of Lord Krishna. In the same cluster of holy places is also located the temple of Lord Hanuman. Though the main deity is Hanuman, there are several other shrines in the temple courtyard, including the Navagrahas or the 9 planets of fortune. Close by is the Shivalayam, adored as the birthplace of Bhagwan Baba. Bhagwan was born on November 23, 1926. While all these shrines are at the end of Gopuram Road of Puttaparthi, the street next to it is the Samadhi Road. A must-visit site here is the sacred resting place of Baba's earthly parents, Srimati Ishwaramba and Sri Pedda Venkapparaju. Baba visited the Samadhi every year on May 6th, on the day of the passing of his mother, and fed the poor and distributed clothes to the needy. We now come back to the main entrance of the ashram. The road in front of this is the Chitravati Road. Towards the end of the street, on top of a little hillock which oversees the river Chitravati, is the Kalpa Vriksha. If you are game for a healthy trek of 200-odd steps, you will love this spiritual adventure. As a little child, Baba gave whatever his playmates wished from the branches of this tree, from out-of-season fruits to pens and sweets. It is therefore called the wish-fulfilling tree. River Chitravati is the sacred stream on the banks of which Baba played in his childhood. In fact, it was on these sands that any number of devotees were witness to amazing manifestations of divinity and grace decade after decade. Every Thursday evening, a bhajan and aarti is done here in reverence of this holy river. Let's now take this road and finally enter the Prashanti Nilayam ashram. As you step in, you are welcomed by Lord Ganesha. Prayer sessions of the ashram begin from here early in the morning every day. Next to it is the temple of Lord Subramanya or Kartikeya or Muruga, a much revered deity in South India. For the convenience of visitors, a branch of the accommodation office is present right at the entrance. Pilgrims who wish to stay in halls, which have comfortable beds, can check in here itself. The main accommodation office is located next to the North 9 block. Indian and overseas visitors who would like to stay in rooms can contact the office here. Coming now to food, the township offers 3 facilities: a South Indian canteen, a North Indian canteen, and a Western canteen. Food in all these three canteens is prepared in a hygienic and devotional environment and offered at much subsidized prices. However, every day, there is a free lunch offered as prasadam to any devotee who joins the prayer sessions in the morning, where these coupons are given. These free meals are served in the Nitya Annadana Seva building, which is next to North 4 block. There is also a shopping complex, which is a veritable supermarket stocked with provisions, clothes, toiletries and vegetables to all items of daily use. Additionally, there is a bakery, popcorn unit, snacks counter, ice cream stall, tender coconut stall, and coffee shops at various places in the ashram. If you are looking for literature on Baba, or audio-video products, or pictures of Baba to take home with you, you have the aesthetically designed publication division of the Sri Satya Sai Sadhana Trust. There are books in more than 25 languages in this complex. In the same building, there is also a library cum reading room for those who love to be quiet and spend time reading. The office of Sanatana Sarathi, the ashram monthly magazine, is also housed in this building. The ashram's media house is Radio Sai, which offers 24/7 radio channels in English and Telugu, apart from a number of audio and video productions which are served to the devotees through their website, www.radiosai.org. Large spaces inside the ashram premises have been turned into lovely gardens. In these peaceful spaces are located the temples dedicated to Mother Gayatri and Mother Lakshmi. There is also a Sarva Dharma garden with its beautiful statue of Umbrella Ganesha and beautiful sculptures of Lord Buddha, Lord Jesus, and so on. The Prashanti Nilayam township is an eco-friendly, self-sufficient community. Thanks to the Sri Satya Sai Mitra project launched by the Sri Satya Sai Central Trust, not only are all major institutions, be it the hospitals, schools and colleges, but every building complex inside the ashram planned to be completely powered by solar energy by 2020. There are sewage treatment plants to recycle water, which is used for the lawns and gardens. The efficient water management and adoption of water harvesting techniques have ensured that the ashram never runs out of water, even though it is located in a potentially dry district of Andhra Pradesh. This township has been built by dedicated selfless service of volunteers called Seva Dals, who come from all states of India on a rotation basis. It is they who have nurtured the ashram with great love and devotion. The men with blue scarves and women in orange scarves are present in all areas of the ashram to facilitate all the activities of the ashram in serving the pilgrims. The heart of Prashanti Nilayam, the powerhouse of this place, is the Sai Kulwant Hall, where hundreds and thousands every day prostrate at the Mahasamadhi of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. This is the hall where millions have seen Baba, touched him, talked to him, and have been transformed by his pure love. And this story continues even today. Every morning at 8, prayer sessions begin here with Veda chanting, followed by bhajans for half an hour till 9:30 a.m. After this, devotees can come closer to the Samadhi and even touch the shrine as they offer their prayers. In the evenings, the Veda chanting begins every day at 4:30 p.m. and after 45 minutes begin bhajans, which go on till 6 p.m. Devotees are again allowed to go near the Samadhi till 7 p.m. when the second arati is reverentially done as a last prayer offering for the day. Right behind this sanctum is yet another space of immense sanctity, which is generally called the Bhajan Hall. In earlier times, this is where Baba used to sit during the bhajan sessions. This is indeed the inner sanctum sanctorum of Prashanti Nilayam, wherein the main altar is a beautiful silver idol of Shirdi Sai. Every single day, prayers are done here in a ritualistic manner. Devotees are allowed entry to this hall during the Suprabhatam at 4:30 am, as well as during the morning puja and rituals, which go on till 7:30 am. Beside the Sai Kulwant Hall is the Purnachandra Auditorium, a huge pillarless hall. This is where major public functions were held till the mid-1990s, that is, before Sai Kulwant Hall came into being. Even in the later years, a 7-day-long Dasara Yajnam always happened in this hallowed premises. This celebration continues here even now. In front of the Purnachandra Hall is the 50-feet Sarvadharma Stupa, inaugurated by Bhagavan on his 50th birthday in 1975. At its base are the symbols of all major world religions, and on its crown is a fully bloomed lotus symbolizing spiritual enlightenment. This stupa, in a nutshell, represents the universal message of unity that Bhagavan always emphasized. There is only one religion, the religion of love. There is only one caste, the caste of humanity. There is only one language, the language of the heart. There is only one God. He is omnipresent. And the way to attain this all-powerful, all-pervading God, as Baba says, is by sincerely practicing the principle: love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. This is indeed the message engraved in the Samadhi of Bhagavan, and which gets ingrained into the psyche of every person who comes into the Sai fold. No person who steps into Puttaparthi leaves untouched by the purity and serenity of the sacred hamlet. That is why it is called Prashanti Nilayam, the abode of supreme peace.
I wanted you to subscribe.
Hey. Saram children and families, parents, I hope you all enjoyed the virtual tour of Prashanti Nilayam. So we have shared the video with your gurus, and your parents will be getting the videos directly. Where if you want to just watch the video again and see the interaction where Swami has built this magnificent abode of peace, supreme peace, then please do watch the video again, kids. So without further ado, I'm going to now hand you over to our first person, right? So because we're talking Balvika, so we'll call her Akka Marisha, right? So Akka Raj. So Akka Raj, I actually know her on a personal level. We used to live in Richards Bay together, and she's still currently a dweller in the Richards Bay area. Now, Akka Marisha came into the Sai fold just under 10 years ago, and the reason why she's joining us today, she spent about 9 months in total living in the ashram, living in the compounds of Puttaparthi. So she's going to share with us the stories about that. And currently, Akka Marisha plays an active role in the media team of the international organization in terms of putting together all these videos that we get to watch, all the youth programs that they get to hold, all the leadership programs that we have. Akka Marisha plays a very active part in that. So it's a privilege and an honor to have Akka Marisha to talk to us for the next, say, 10 minutes or so about what it was like to live in the ashram as a devotee, what was it that they needed to do and all of that. So Akamarisha has asked that whoever is comfortable, please, you can all now put on your cameras. Whoever's comfortable to do so, please put on your cameras. And only if you do have a question, kids, please can you just indicate to us that you have a question, and then Akamarisha will indicate or will then see you and will advise you on the question, or she'll tell you to unmute. So Akamarisha, thanks so much for joining, and the floor is now yours.
Yeah.
Loving Sai Rams, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to be here to go on this virtual tour with us. So, as Brother Derolan mentioned, I came to Swami very delayed. Actually, it was after Mahasamadhi. I never knew Bhagavan in the physical form, but his love is something that is all pervading. It's for all of us. And we are so blessed to know that Swami can be our very best friend. I consider Swami to be my best friend because I can talk to him about anything. He's always there for me and always there for you too. So, on my first trip to Prashanti Nilayam, this was in 2016, I didn't know what to expect at all. I remember we landed in the early hours of the morning and the sun was just coming up as we entered Puttaparthi as a village. And I'd heard about the beautiful schools that you saw, but nothing really prepares you for what it's like to really see it. My mother always says that Prashanti is an experience. And when we talk about this beautiful place that Swami has created, it's it's a new experience, but it's also like going home.
I mean,
Everybody is welcome in Prashanti Nilayam. Now, there are a lot of older people who will tell us things like you have to wait to be called by Swami before you can go to Prashanti, or you have to ask
Marisha, I'm
Swami.
so sorry to cut you off. I'm just want to unmute because there's a few people that are unmuted and they're talking over you, and people can't seem to hear you clearly. So I just want to unmute everybody, and then we'll take it from there, right?
Sure.
Cool. Let's just do that. So sorry, sis. 1 second, right?
No worries.
Okay, you can unmute yourself. Perfect.
Sure.
Okay.
As I was saying, a lot of
Sorry, Marisha.
people will no problem. A lot of people will tell you that you have to ask Swami permission before you can go to Prashanti, or that you have to wait to be called. But I personally disagree because Swami is more than just my best friend. Swami is my mother, and we are always welcome in our mother's home. At any given time in your mother's home, you are loved, you are spoiled, you are treated absolutely the best. And that has been my experience in Prashanti Nilayam. My first day in the ashram, there was an uncle that I saw after darshan. And I remember clearly being near the shopping center that she saw. And in a soft voice, he said, Om Sai Ram, Swami Mahasamadhi Prasadam. Swami is giving food. Please come. I, of course, was looking at shopping, so I went into the shopping complex first. And as I came out, the uncle saw me again. And he walked me down to the shed where food used to be given. And the plate is made of leaves that are joined together. And you sit on the floor, and sevadals will come lovingly to serve you food. It was palisadam, which is a tamarind rice, and kheer, the sweetest, most indulgent kheer ever, with cashews and raisins. And I remember actually taking that away with me because there was so much of food, I couldn't even finish it. Well, in the video, you saw the umbrella Ganesh, and I consider the umbrella Ganesh to be my buddy. I often say to friends of mine, I will see you later. I'm just going to visit my friend. And like any girl who has longed for a Bollywood moment, on one day I was doing pradakshina, which is when you go around an idol. I was going around the umbrella Ganesh, and the edge of my scarf suddenly pulled, and I looked behind me, and my scarf had gotten caught on Ganesh. And I felt that I lived my Bollywood dream, because who is my beloved other than Sai Ganesh? When you're talking about being in the village, and I've not had the opportunity to stay inside of the ashram compound, but I've lived on Gopuram Road and on Chitravati Road. And when you live outside, it's not that you have any less of an experience. I remember one day when I was sitting with my mother in the courtyard of the Hanuman temple, and like any other child, my monkey mind was hopping around the place, and I was distracted while meditating. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a flash of blue. And I looked, and it was Lord Vishnu walking down the street. So when it's out of season, these actors and artists come into the village. But for me, it felt like such a wonderful blessing to sit in the temple and then see Mahavishnu walk down the street. But this is not an isolated occurrence. There is something that is called Parati Yatra, which is when different areas come to Prashanti Nilayam, and they do performances in the ashram, and you learn so much about different cultures and different places, about their fashion and their food. And they also do a parade outside of the ashram. And in that you will see every one of the Dasa Avatara. You will see people dressed as Swami, people doing different forms of dance. It's like a carnival. It's like the charity fair, but so much better. Now, when we talk about Prashanti, we cannot forget food. There is no food better than the pasta at the Western canteen. Now, I think it's because there are Sevadals volunteering from Italy, but Swami also knows his children love cheese. So there's lots of cheese on the pasta, on the potato bake. And if you're struggling to finish your food, you don't have to leave it behind. There are these little packages that you can take it away with you, so you can still enjoy it later. Now, I'm sure you saw the Gokulam. And the Gokulam is very special because those are holy cows. Prashanti ice cream is the best ice cream in the whole wide world. Now, to me, it tastes like double thick cream was just smashed in with raspberries. It bursts with flavor in your mouth, and you can never have just one. My favorite combination from the snack counter outside the shopping center is a samosa and an ice cream. Now, it's different from how we know samosas because ours are flat, but theirs are like a pyramid, and it's as big as a pie, and it's filled with lots of curry, potato and peas. And when you come out of darshan and you're hungry, it's also piping hot. And it's such a lovely treat to have. Now, I've told you that Swami is my dear friend, but I have not told you that we have to be very cautious with what we say to Swami. And the reason I tell you this is because a few years ago, my mother took me on a whirlwind ride in an auto around the village, and I saw the super specialty hospital, and it's beautiful. You saw it too. this rose pink walls, and on the inside is a gorgeous shrine. But I was a little late, so I didn't get to go inside. And I sat in the auto and I said, Swami, I want to come to your hospital too. I didn't specify that I just wanted to visit. Instead, I ended up being a patient there. Now, one thing I will tell you is that if you've unfortunately fallen sick, you'll know that sometimes it feels very scary if you have to go into a theater. You don't know what will happen. But in Swami's hospital, as you get taken into theater, there's a beautiful portrait of Swami with kuttavalkas, with lots of lights around it. Oops. And also, as you go into the theater, there are bhajans playing. Your doctors and your nurses will greet you with a loving side arm. And you feel so much love. You feel so safe that no matter what happens, you know that you'll be okay. I've had the wonderful opportunity of serving in Prashanti Nilayam. And this was in the form of the free medical camp. Now, every year, twice a year, there is a medical camp where fantastic, world-renowned doctors from all over the world come together in Prashanti to render their service free of charge. Your average doctor will see 6 or 8 patients a day, but at the medical camp, we see more than 2,000 every single day. And every patient that comes there is greeted with love. They're greeted knowing that they are being served, that the Swami in them is who we're really reaching out to and who we're speaking to. Now, I had a very interesting experience there because it was 2018 in July at the Guru Purnima camp. And I looked up and all of a sudden I saw Swami. And I couldn't, but Swami? There was this cardboard cutout of Swami that happened to be there. And I was just so surprised. But I had to have a picture. It was darshan. And this is actually the background on my phone. I'm not sure if you can see this. But that's me hugging Swami. Because I thought it was the perfect opportunity to give some love to my friend. Staying in Prashanti, it's home. And no matter at what point you're at in your spiritual journey, there is so much of love for you. The little children in Prashanti Nilayam are always welcome. And Swami has always spoken to us about the importance of you, his beautiful sai blossoms. Swami loves children. And you're never too young for spirituality. Now, if you're not from India, that doesn't mean that you won't have an opportunity to offer your love to love himself. A few years ago, I was there for a Kanda Bhajan, and with the Western Canteen team, we were allowed to perform bhajan in Sai Kulwant Hall. We had the midnight slot, and at this slot, Sai Kulwant was cool, it was empty, and we sat right at the front. And there was this picture of Swami directly in front of me where he sits like this. And it's the most loving picture of Swami that you can ever imagine. If you ever have the chance to be there for a festival, there's no denying that you will absolutely love it. Ganesha Puja in Prashanti Nilayam is like a party. For the days leading up to Ganesha Puja, every street is decorated. There's songs and dancing. There's also load shedding. And the reason for this is because the Ganesh statues are so big, it actually hits the power lines. So on the night before Ganesh Chaturthi, at every street there is a Ganesh. And you can go on a tour and see all of them. And every place you go to will give you prasadam. They also have some interesting things. I remember driving past one Ganesh where Justin Bieber was playing, which tells you that Swami really can be found in everything. On Ganesh Chaturthi itself, in the morning, things will seem a bit quiet. They will be doing Havan and Puja, and then big drums will come outside and they will throw colors like Holi. And then the Ganesh goes for a walk. But every class in Swami's Education Institute makes their own Ganesh and presents this inside of Sai Kulwant Hall. Some of the Ganesh that we have seen, one was Aladdin's lamp, one was Ganesh in a space shuttle, there was Ganesh inside of a lotus that moved. I think there was a whole other 108 Ganeshas that I've never encountered before. But what it really tells you is that faith of children, love of children, is something that Swami always welcomes. And Swami always loves you. Now, I don't want to run too much over my time, but if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me.
Thanks so much, sis. Yeah, so kids, we got a couple minutes, so if you want to ask Akka Marisha any questions that she maybe never covered, then you can raise your hand on the chat, right? So just raise your hand physically on Zoom, and we can ask her the question. We'll have time for maybe one or two questions, right? And then we'll move over to our next guest. So is there anybody that wants to raise their hand? Don't see any hands raised yet. Okay, no,
brother, sorry. One more experience I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
So you saw in the video that there is Omkaram and Suprabhatam every morning. I didn't necessarily realize that when I first went to Prashanti. And so I decided when my brother was there and he spoke about how in the morning he would go and there was chanting. So I was like, okay, I'll go too. I decided to go on the busiest day of the year, which was Swami's birthday. The line to get into Suprabhatam was at the Golden Ganesh, which is very far. When I went into Suprabhatam, cycle 1 was dark. It was cool. And Suprabhatam was so soothing. And while this is regarded as the wake up of the Lord, but we know Swami never sleeps. He's always there for us. I felt like I could sleep there. If you've been to Prashanti, you know that it's really, really hot all of the time. But during Suprabhatam, it is cool and it's soothing. You really do just want to curl up with a blanket. You hope that someone would give you a pillow and cover you. But here's the beautiful thing about being in Prashanti. No matter how old you are, no matter whether you're a devotee or not, every single person has this beautiful experience that's created just for them. You and I could walk into Prashanti Nilayam right now, and the both of us would still have two very different experiences. And that's because our connection with Swami is heart to heart. It's only ever you, him, and his love.
That's it, sis. So we got one question. The user is Rani. She got her hand up. So I don't know who. If you can maybe just unmute and put on your camera, and you can ask Akka Marisha a question.
Sairam?
Unmute as well, Sairam.
I was wondering what the dress code is in Puttaparthi.
Okay, sure. So the dress code is conservative. I would say when we go to bhajan locally in South Africa, we always go with a shawl. We're covered shoulder to shoulder, so you could wear a lenga as long as your skin is covered. You could wear a salwar or Punjabi. You could even wear jeans and a longer t-shirt as long as you have a scarf. Because there are a lot of people that come from Western countries or people who are not Indian that come to Prashanti. They are allowing you to come in different clothes as long as you are modestly dressed. Now, an important thing to notice is that because Prashanti welcomes everybody, you will sometimes see people in hijab. You will see people wearing the nun's outfit, which is called a habit. As long as your skin is covered, I would say if you have short sleeves, you don't wear a Punjabi that has no sleeves. If you have a scarf that's very thin, the Sevadals might give you a shawl that they keep a box when you enter cycle one. And one time, I actually got stopped that way. I had a kurta, but I also had a shia. It was a white scarf. And so they offered me a thicker shawl from the box. I really wished I could have brought that shawl home because I just thought it's been in Prashanti for so long. That's all Swami's love and vibrations.
Cool.
Thank
Thanks so much.
you.
So we've got. I see Avika is unmuting herself. So maybe just quickly the last question before we move on to our next speaker. Avika, I'm not too sure if you want to ask something to Akamarisha. Yeah, she's got her hand up. She's showing her camera with her hand up. Okay, Avika, you can ask your question.
I love Swami so much. I wish I can see him.
Wow, that is so powerful. Hey.
That is so beautiful, my child. And this is what I want you to know. Just because Swami has taken Samadhi does not mean that you can't see him. It doesn't mean that you can't feel his love. Many people have these dreams about Swami. And Swami has said that when he comes in your dream, that is his real darshan. He knows that you love him, and so you can still see him. Now, I can tell you of a little experience when I was in Prashanti and my father was in South Africa. One day, my mother and I were walking down to Chitravati River, and she suddenly saw in the distance this white outfit and hair. And there is a shrine by the Chitravati River, but the picture of Swami there is in yellow. And in that fleeting moment, she did see Swami there. When we found out afterwards, my father had been sick in that moment. But Swami was with her, showing himself to her and reassuring her that he is with her no matter what happens. So please don't despair. You will still see Swami. He's not gone anywhere.
Yeah, so true. And thanks so much, Akamarisha, for spending your time with us. And what we'll do is, I know you won't leave the call. So if anybody, we'll have another question session towards the end, and we'll see if anyone has other questions there. So thanks, Akamarisha. Thank you so much for sharing all your wonderful experiences. So we're now going to hand over to our next speaker. So the next speaker, again, a Sai brother of mine that we go back since the younger days, right? When we were just mere little children, running around at all of our Sai activities, growing up. We used to live for the fact that we get to see each other at Akanda Bhajans and Shivaratri, because he used to hail from Lens at that time, and I used to hail, but we still come from Pretoria. So we used to look for those times, and all those times that used to happen was just awesome because you get to spend it with the like-minded people around you. So this brother then of ours then decided, okay, he's going to leave to India in April 2011, and he's going to go and further his studies, right? And he went to Prashanti Nilayam. So you saw they spoke about the university and all of that. So he actually went and he studied for 3 years in the ashram. So he studied his Carnatic music, vocals, and specializing in the mridangam, right? So if any musicians are on, we know about the mridangam, right? So he specialized in that, and he was actually a student and lived as a student in Prashanti Nilayam, right? And he goes by the name of Rahul Singh. So he lived in India for a total of 6 years. And then in 2017, he came back to South Africa and he settled down. And he currently lives in Merebank. So if there's any Merebank members here, he's currently a Merebank secondary school teacher. He teaches grade 9, or grade 9 or the high school, I'm not too sure which grade, in the social sciences department, right? So if you're at the school, you'll get to see this wonderful face named Rahul Singh, right? So Rahul, my brother, thanks so much for accepting my invite. And the floor is now yours to tell the children what was it like studying in the ashram. You know, what was, because Marisha had different experiences as a devotee living there, but how was it being a student, actually one of Swami's chosen students, to live there and study in that faculties and stuff, you know? So I hand the floor to you now, bro. You can educate us and share all your experiences with us.
My loving salam to everybody. Thank you, Brother Jerolan, and to Sister Marisha. There was such wonderful experiences that you shared, you know, just watching the video and listening to your experiences as well. I feel so like nostalgic sitting here. Literally, if somebody told me right now, stop what you're doing and go to Prashanti, I'd just pack up. Even if I don't pack up, I got the white shirt already on, so I'm ready to roll. I just leave whatever I'm doing and go. You know, watching the videos of the campus, the music college, and the ashram, everything. It's bringing back such wonderful memories that I developed over the years of staying in Prashanti. It was really something special. It's something that I'll never forget. It's something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And you know, it sometimes it loses, or I lose words when I think about it, because words can't portray exactly how special and how much of love you feel being in the ashram, and especially being a student of Swami. I mean, Bhagwan always stated that his only property, no matter that there's the hospitals, there's the universities, water projects, etc., that's under Swami's name or goes under the Satya Sai organization. But Swami stated so many times that his only one property is his students. And that sense of belonging that we have to Swami, and personally, the feeling that you get knowing that you are a personal belonging of Swami and Swami has said it to you, it's a feeling that is special. It makes you wonder what good karma you have done, good deeds you have done to have you earn that spot to be able to get into the university and become a student of Bhagwan. Before I go on, I just want to know, is Brother Sagar on the call? If he is, he can unmute and just let me know. Brother Jerolan, is he on by any chance? Did you see him joining?
I'm just going to check in the meantime. You can continue and I'll just check quickly.
Okay. So Sister Marisha shared so much of lovely experiences, and like I said, it brought back so many memories. So while I was sitting down, I actually went and got my diary out, because she shared so much that brought back so many memories that I didn't even really remember offhand when Brother Jerolan had told me to speak, and I jotted down some points that I actually want to share with you guys as well in a different form. First, let me tell you.
No, sorry, man. I'm going to cut you there. Just to answer your question. Just to answer your question, is not yet on. It doesn't seem to be on. Okay.
Okay,
so,
that's fine. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay. So before I go on with any of the experiences that I have, I want to share with you guys and all the kiddos about a day in the life of a student and our day-to-day activities from start to end. Also, guys, if there's anybody with any questions, please don't wait till the end. You may forget what you wanted to ask. So please raise your hand, send through your question. You can unmute yourself and feel free to stop me at any point and ask any questions that you guys want. So from the start, this hit me like a bullet train because I didn't know too much. I think I under-expected before joining the campus because I heard about the day-to-day life, but experiencing it is something else. So when I had joined the very next day, we had Suprabhatam starting at 5:30 a.m. So of course, wake up call starts at 5:15. There's light music that's played, followed by the Gayatri Mantra chanted in Swami's voice in the ashram.
Sorry, bro, I'm going to cut you off. Sagar has joined. I'm going to cut you off. He's on.
Okay. All right. So, okay, let me introduce Sagar before I go on. Sagar is one of the brothers that I shared a room with in the hostel. We were really, really close friends. Sagar is part of was part of the Hindustani vocal students. He's a Manthora singer up till date. So I've asked Brother Sagar to please come onto this call, even though it's like 10:30 in India. I'm keeping him up tonight, but I'll share some experiences of Brother Sagar and I once he's done. I've asked Brother Sagar if he can please sing one bhajan for us with a little bit of a small alap for about 20 seconds, and he can sing one bhajan for us. Sairam, Brother Sagar.
Sairam, Rahul.
Sairam, Brother Sagar, thank you so much for joining. It's such an honor to have a Prashanti Mandir singer with us to render our bhajan. So thank you so much for joining, brother.
Yeah, same here. I'm also feeling the same. And as Rahul requested me to join, and I can't deny Rahul. Because
thank you so much.
Study-wise, he was my senior. Age-wise, I am his brother. So mutual it was,
Nice.
Very amazing relation we had. So it is all he's sharing very best things what I'm missing as well. So Rahul was sharing the Supratam, all that stuff. So before that, before he continue, I will sing a beautiful bhajan for you all. Okay.
Thank you, Sagar.
चरण कमल पर शीश नमाओ अर्पण करूं तुझे भक्ति भाव के ये स्वर माला कर लेना बाबा स्वीकार कर लेना बाबा स्वीकार साई बाबा सकल भुवन के दाता साई बाबा सकल भुवन के दाता साई बाबा सकल भुवन के दाता साईं बाबा सकल भुवन के दाता साईं बाबा सकल भुवन के दाता रूप मनोहर कमला कांता साईं बाबा साईं बाबा साईं साईं बाबा रूप मनोहर कमला कांता रूप मनोहर कमला कांता युगावतार साईं बाबा दया करो परते बाबा युगावतार साईं बाबा दया करो परते बाबा शिरडी परते हृदय निवासी शिरडी परते हृदय निवासी प्रशांति सुंदर साईं प्रशांति सुंदर साईं साईं बाबा सकल भुवन के दाता थैंक यू
Thanks so much,
you,
brother.
Sagar bhai.
Thank you.
I hope you're not going and you're gonna sing one more song in closing. I hope so.
How much time it is gonna take?
Rahul will tell you. Rahul will tell you. Okay, Rahul, back to you, brother.
Okay, I think it's a bit late there for Sagar bhai because he wakes up in the morning and he does his practice from about 2-3 a.m. So yeah, so it's Sagar bhai, I understand if you need to go. We won't keep you too long. Thank you so much. I'm going to share some experiences about you and I and our wonderful times that we had in the hostel.
And
only the good stuff.
I must tell everyone that Rahul was blessed to be a part of Prashanti Bhajan group as a dholak player and khanjira player, and always he used to play along with us for the bhajan sessions. And many time during our college time, whenever I used to play harmonium, he'll tell, "Bhai, can I play tabla?" I tell, "Yeah, Rahul, you come." So like that, we had amazing time, and Rahul is very much talented in mridangam, very good. So God bless you, Rahul, and God bless everyone. And thanks for bearing me.
Thank you so much, Sagar bhai. Swami's blessings to you, brother, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sai Ram. Thank you.
Sai Ram, Sagar bhai.
Sai Ram.
Okay, Sai Ram, everybody. Thank you for listening to Sagar, and I hope everybody enjoyed his rendition of the bhajan. I was saying about, I was giving everyone a overview of our day-to-day life as students. So music college students was slightly different as compared to the institute students, though we did share the same hostel. We all lived in the senior boys hostel. So about 5:15 a.m., they used to play light music and followed by Swami's reciting the Gayatri Mantra on the PA system. And we used to wake up at that time, go and brush our teeth. If you wish to have a shower at the time, you could go and shower. But by 5:30, we had to be downstairs for Omkar and Suprabhatam, which followed by 5 minutes of Vedic chanting. So in the mornings when we used to get up, of course, not everyone, when you're 19 years old, first year in campus, studying at that time, of course, you can't make it to wake up every day at 5:15. You're going to get tired. So there were days where we used to wake up with 5 minutes to spare, brush our teeth like it's a drive-through, quickly, and head down. So like Sister Marisha was stating just now, you feel sometimes like you want to just cuddle up and sleep. So when we were students, we were allowed to take a, in Prashanti in the mornings, it's a bit chilly. It's not cold as such, but it is a bit chilly. So we were allowed to take like a bed sheet or a light blanket with us to sit and just put around us because we are sitting on the floor at the time. So a lot of us used to go quickly, just brush our teeth, head down there, sit down with our blankets. And because you tucked up and you're feeling so warm, there were so many times where we actually saw a lot of us fell off to sleep during Omkar and Suprabhatam. You would think that, you know, it's just a matter of 20 minutes that you're getting extra sleep. It's not such a big deal. But the energy that was created in that in the hall at that time where we had our Omkar and Suprabhatam in the hostel was so high that when we woke up, we actually felt, or personally, I felt so much more rejuvenated. And
Okay, Sairam, I think he's having a bit of signal issues.
so much more
Oh, there
way
we
more
go.
than I did like on there were days where we didn't have them. Sairam, am I audible?
You broke up there. You actually froze, brother. You froze, and I was just saying that you froze.
Oh, it started thundering and it's pouring rain that's here. So the heavens have opened up. So maybe that's why. It's just started
Yeah,
like 2 minutes ago.
yeah, it's a storm in Durban. So
Yeah.
cool, cool, bro.
Okay. So am I audible again?
Sharp, sharp.
Okay, perfect. So I'm not sure where the last where I stopped to where I was heard, but like I was mentioning, if we woke up like much more rejuvenated just by sleeping that 5 or 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most, while it was Suprabhatam, Omkar Suprabhatam and Vedic chanting was going on. There were days that we couldn't make it and we were just too tired and we really couldn't wake up. But of course, it is a discipline. Now, here's where this comes in. It's in as a student of Swami students, rather, we would get attendance taken at Suprabhatam and also at jogging, for jogging as well. Now, jogging is done after the Omkar and Suprabhatam. If we fell short of 70% attendance for the whole year, we would not be allowed to write our exams. Now, the reason for this is Swami has said or stated the importance of doing Omkar and Suprabhatam. Now, it's not just that you're doing Omkar and Suprabhatam just for prayers. It's not that. Omkar and Suprabhatam is actually awakening the God within you. It's not just to wake Swami up. Swami, like Sister Marisha stated, Swami never sleeps. Swami is always awake, right? Swami is always there for us, but it's awakening the Sai within you. So after Suprabhatam, we would go for jogging. And if we were part of a department, such as, let's say, the medical side, or if we were in the Nadaswaram, like I was, many other groups, you would go to your department for practice. And if for those that weren't part of any team as such, they would be part of the jogging. And we would go for jogging around the Hillview Stadium. You do some stretches, some exercises to get your body up and ready and active for the day. Now, once jogging and Suprabhatam finishes, we used to go back to the hostel, and that's the time for our shower. And you would get ready, obviously put on your whites. We all know that as the students, we all had to wear a white shirt and white pants. It was compulsory. As music college students, we were allowed to wear a white kurta and white kurta pants or white pants. Of course, we would have to wear a vest underneath that, because some of the kurtas are see-through. So once we're done, we would go down for breakfast. Now the breakfast is not typically like our cornflakes and cheese toast, these kind of things that we are used to here in South Africa. We would get breakfast like idli with coconut chutney, or we'd get poha with sambar, and it was proper Indian, and especially more like South Indian. I mean, we used to get things like puri and potato curry for breakfast. So it took me a bit of an adjustment to get used to it. But nonetheless, as time went by, because I'm not used to eating, I mean, something that has spice in the morning, I'm sure not many of you guys are as well. But nonetheless, I got used to it over time as time passed. By the third year, it was all going down. And just the same way in the dining hall when we sit, as Sister Marisha mentioned, we used to sit on the floor, quiet, no noise, there's no talking. You're focusing on your own food, on your own meal. Because you're partaking in Swami's Prasadam, of course, you're going to respect that, and you're not talking to everybody else around you. Once breakfast was done at about 7:20, we had a bit of time for catching up on our work, or we used to go to college and practice, or get ourselves ready for the day. If we had any homework from the previous day that we didn't finish, we'd finish up, as we had to be in campus at 5 to 9. That's 8:55. Campus would start at 9. We have our lessons, day-to-day lessons, sit with our gurus, practical, theory. We had many different teachers that taught us various different things with regards to our music. We had theory teachers, practical teachers. We also had visiting faculties that had come from countries like Denmark, Netherlands. We had a violin teacher I think he still visits up till now. We used to call him Marco sir. He taught us a bit of violin. And so all of these teachers, if we wanted to learn a little bit from them, we used to go to them during each day. Lunch was served at around 12, about 12:30, you can say. And we head back from campus, back to the hostel. We were lucky as music college students because the hostel and campus were right next to each other. The institute, they had a little bit of a longer walk to come into the campus. Now, if you look for us, we used to get back 12:30, have our lunch. By 1:10, we're back at college again for the second session. And at 2:50, we would finish our day with the classes. Once classes finishes, we would have some time to relax and take a small break. And tea used to be served, tea and juices used to be served, juice in summer and tea throughout the year at other times, tea and snacks. From about 4 p.m. to about 4:20. After that, where we used to head to Mandir or start preparing ourselves again. You can go and have a shower if you need to shave. Everyone knows that, okay, now we have the beard, as you saw Brother Sagar and I. But when we are students, there's no beards allowed. We have to be clean shaven at all the times, especially as I mentioned, Brother Sagar and myself were Bhajan group members. So we'd have to look presentable to the T. Of course, ultimate clean white shirt, pants, very neat, always keeping and maintaining our status as Bhajan group boys. Because when we walk out from the Bhajan Mandir, everyone's eyes is all on you. And of course, at that time, you don't want to have somebody saying that, look at the students being untidy and walking down. Bhajans used to start at around 5 p.m. It depends. In summer and winter, there's slight different hours. And after darshan, we used to head back to the hostel. We had a bit of a break from about 6 p.m. till 7:20. So my routine was every day at 6 p.m. Once darshan finishes, I used to go for samadhi darshan and come back to the hostel once I'm done. Get back to the hostel, I used to change into my tracksuit pants, etc. And I used to go to the indoor stadium. Now you guys saw the indoor stadium in the video. I used to go to the gym there, and that was my way of keeping fit. I enjoyed it. It was my way to de-stress every day. I used to head to the gym, do some exercise at the indoor gym, and then I used to head back head back to the hostel for about half an hour. Used to be in the gym, head back to the hostel, bath again, change up, head for supper at about 7:20. 8 o'clock starts study hour. It's called study hour, but we have 2 hours. Now the study hour, we can either go to campus or we can be in the hostel. It's compulsory that we are on our books or instruments working and doing our studies at that time. So from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., strictly study hour. Once the study hours are done at 10 p.m., at 9:30, they will play the night prayer in the hostel, again on the PA system. Once the night prayer is done, all lights are off in our rooms, and it's compulsory that everybody is going to bed. Now, of course, you think at 9:30, it's not always possible to finish up all your work. We have study rooms in the hostel. So if you are still busy after 10:30, you could go to one of the study rooms and use the study rooms in the hostel. Now, I want to tell you guys, with Brother Sagar and I were roommates for 2 years out of my 3 years. I am 1 year senior to him. He's 1 year older than me though. Brother Sagar and I was known as the grandfather and great-grandfather of the music college because we were the oldest students that were there at the time. Brother Sagar and I wanted to share this with you when he was on the call, because I wanted to ask him if he remembers. One of my good memories with Sagar is we were table tennis partners for the inter-house matches that we used to have. We had Shanti House and Prema House, and we used to have inter-house matches in the campus. And of course, there's a cup that we win. So if you see, there's some of my trophies that I've got, and I've got my favorite one that's here. This was my 100-meter trophy. And these are the best memories that I have or one of my best memories that I have, because I had won the 100-meter sprint for 3 years in a row. So if you look here, this trophy that's there was Brother Sagar and I we share, he has one and I have one. We had played in the final for the table tennis doubles. Now, Brother Sagar and I were 2-0 up. It's in a set of 5. Played our game going on really well. We thought, okay, we 2 up, we're definitely going to win. And we ended up losing that match. And Brother Sagar was so upset at me because I was the one that kept on hitting and missing, hitting the ball onto the net, hitting it off the table. And we ended up losing that 3-2. And but this is our trophy that we got for coming out second. It's still one of the wonderful memories of it, that even though we lost, it wasn't exactly about winning or losing. It's more about the fact of the experience that we had and that patience that we learned to develop with each other, because you're not playing on your own. You can't be fighting with your partner at the same time. You've got to have the patience to deal with what the other person is doing, at the same time. Again, guys, if there's any questions, anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask me at any time. You can stop me whenever it is. I want to share an experience with you guys. Okay, and after obviously 10 p.m. once lights goes out, it's repeat the same cycle every day, 7 days a week as it goes. So I want to share an experience with you guys. One of my most divine experience that I have of Swami. So it's the 23rd of March 2014. It was an evening, and after study hour, the boys were sitting around and talking in the room. And we were in a room of 7 boys. The room catered for 10 students, but we had 7 students in our room at the time. And my batch of boys that were there was 4 of us and a few others from the other batches sitting down, and they were talking. And they were sharing their experiences that they had with Swami. And they were speaking about, how they went to Swami and took Pada Namaskar from Swami, and Swami gave them sweets, and Swami, it just went on Swami, Swami, Swami. And I'm sitting there quiet because I hadn't seen Swami, I had seen Swami physically, but I had no physical experience with Swami, and definitely not as close as they did, for that matter. So all of them, they were speaking and sharing their experiences, and I was sitting there and I was feeling so bad. I just sat quiet, I didn't say anything, and I felt so bad to myself, thinking, I wish. I said to Swami, I said, I wish you were here. In my mind, I'm thinking, so Swami, I wish you were here, because had you been here, I could have had experiences, the same way these other boys have had experiences with you. And anyway, the whole evening it played in my mind, and I kept on telling Swami, I said, I'm going to go back to South Africa, and everyone's going to ask me, what experience do you have, or what experiences, share some experiences, tell us some stories. And I kept on saying, I have no physical experience with you, Swami. What am I going to share with everybody? Because I can't go back and say nothing. The same night, I went to bed, obviously after night prayer, and I had a dream of Swami, whereby Swami was, I walked into Cycle 112, and Swami was standing on the Samadhi, but towards the corner of the Samadhi. And I'm speaking to Swami, but I don't remember exactly what I had said to Swami, but Swami was talking to a whole lot of people, but I know he was talking to me at the time. And Swami says, why is the Samadhi here? So I just looked at Swami and I'm like, Swami, you know why the Samadhi is here. Why are you asking me? And he says, no, there's no need for the Samadhi to be here. So I didn't say anything to Swami. I just put my hands together, and my sleep had broken. The next day, I obviously I remembered my dream. I didn't tell anyone about it or anything of that sort. And I went for darshan. The whole day went on, campus, etc. And I went for darshan the next afternoon. I didn't go to join the bhajan group on that day, but I sat just behind the bhajan group boys for darshan. While I had sat for darshan, I had my eyes closed and I opened my eyes and a few times, and I didn't realize that the same spot where I was sitting was the same spot in where I was standing in my dream, during my dream. And something had told me in my mind, a voice had said to me, close your eyes and count to 10. So of course I closed my eyes, as silly as it sounds, and I counted to 10. And when I opened my eyes, believe it or not, there was a shadow of Swami exactly the same height and same size as I saw Swami in my dream, in the exact same corner of the Samadhi where I had seen him in my dream. It baffled me because I couldn't believe it. I said, no, it's my eyes playing tricks on me. But then I looked away, looked back, looked again, and it was constant. It was, the shadow of Swami was exactly, even the height between his head and the Samadhi roof, it was exactly the same. So I tapped one of my friends that was sitting next to him and I said, look, can you see Swami? And he says, oh my God, yes, I can see Swami's shadow. And so on, so on, so on. The boys passed the message to each person, and everybody that was around me had saw Swami's shadow on the Samadhi. The next day I said, I'm going to go back and check again, because it could be a shadow of flowers or maybe the garlands or something. And it was the exact same flower arrangement, but there was no shadow of Swami on that day. Until date, I put that down as my best experience that I have had of Swami, and the closest experience that I have had of Swami, because when I had told Bhavan that day that please give me some experience to share with everybody, and some experience so that I can have something in my heart as a student of yours, all I did was have to ask Swami just once. I asked him with my whole heart. I asked him with everything, with all the love that I could ask him. And he didn't fail me, just as he's never failed me before. Swami continuously gives and gives and gives. And just the same way that Swami never let me down, and he's continued giving. On that topic of Swami giving, I want to share something else with you. This was a gift that I received from Swami's house, as this was kept in Swami's residence, and this was given to the outgoing students of the music college. I'm not sure if it's clear. I'm trying to peep and see. Okay,
so it's a glass block with like an engraving of Swami.
Yes, so Swami's face and Swami's hands there. So this had come from Swami's residence as gifts to us as the outgoing batch of students at that time. Another quick experience that I'd like to share, Brother Jerome, do I have time still?
You can wrap up, bro. So you can do your one more experience, and then we'll have questions from the kids, and then we'll wrap up, right?
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Sure.
So quickly, I want to tell you guys about, before I share an experience, I want to tell you guys about appreciating the little things in life and how I learned to appreciate the little things in life. As a student in the hostel, we don't have hot water showers. If you want to have a hot water bath, you would go to the tap, carry your bucket, open the tap there. There's a tap in one of the stalls. You get your hot water from there, and you can go into the separate cubicle to go and shower. Having obviously most of the boys, and Prashanti is quite warm, so we don't generally worry about hot water. But there are those chilly days and in the evening where you would want to have a warm bath, rather not hot bath, a warm bath. But one of the little things that I was learned to appreciate in life is just something like a hot water shower that we have, the facilities that we have, and we take for granted. Also, it's things like being able to open the fridge and take out something when you feel like having, let's say you want some juice, or you want to eat something else, or you want to have, these kind of facilities aren't available to us as when we were students. And these are the things that developed me personally to appreciate the smaller things in life and not just the finer things. You know, I mean, when we were students, we weren't allowed cell phones. We weren't allowed TV. There's one TV in the dining room where they would put it on for 5 minutes, only 5 minutes, and they used to play some sport. They used to show us some sport highlights, and we'd catch up on sports for 5 minutes a day. Cell phones were not allowed, so there's no Facebook, no WhatsApp, no Instagram, no anything basically. So all of these little things help me improve in my life, whereby I don't now need them. It's not a need for me. Prior to the phone that I'm using now, I had a much older phone, whereby my parents actually ended up buying this phone for me, the one that I'm using now, because they had gotten fed up of seeing my old phone over and over again. Because to me, it was fine. It was another phone. I didn't need to upgrade my phone. And I still have that phone as well. I haven't even gotten rid of it. To tell you guys a little bit of our sister Marisha spoke about the milk. I wrote something down here about the milk. And I think my mom is on the Zoom here, and she knows the story about the milk and how we had the key to the kitchen, as there was a few of us that used to be part of the kitchen team as well. And in the evenings, because the milk used to be so nice and thick and lovely, they used to keep the milk in the cold room. And in the evenings, when we wanted to have a nice glass of Milo or milkshake, or if anybody sent something nice from South Africa for us, then what we used to do, we used to go quickly take some of the milk from there, like little Krishnas, go and steal some milk and make our Milo and run back to the room before anybody catches us. I used to sit down, quickly have our Milo, have our milkshakes, enjoy it, go and wash our glass so that there's no evidence left. And that's how we used to end our night more often than not. I said I'm going to share one last experience was during the sports meet of 2015. In 2014, I was part of the gymnastics team, and we did a wonderful presentation to Swami in the 2014 sports meet. If you guys want to YouTube it, you can find it on YouTube. The whole sports meet is there. In 2015, while performing, I wanted to be part of the lion dance team, but the teacher for the gymnastics team had told me, he says, no, please come and join us again. So I said, okay, it's fine. And it so happened that I got injured during one of the practice sessions, and I wasn't able to perform that year. And I still wanted to be part of the lion dance, but irrespective, they had already filled all the slots up, and I couldn't do it because it was a bit less strenuous than gymnastics, of course. And again, I asked Swami just once, and I said to Swami, it's my final year. I'm never going to get the chance to participate in the sports and cultural meet again. I really want to do something other than just support stuff. I don't want to just be the one that just goes and carries something to put it down there for the guys. I understand that I am injured, but I'd still love to do something. On the day of the sports meet itself, I hadn't practiced a single day with the lion dance team or anything of that sort. On the day of the sports meet, one of my friends came running to me when everything was pretty much done and complete. He came running there to find me, and he says, Rahul, do you still want to do the lion dance? So I just thought he's joking with me, and I said, don't start with me, kind of thing. He says, no, I'm being serious. We need somebody right now to participate in the lion dance. We're going to go past Swami and go towards the end. So I said, no, how can I? I don't have, and you guys are full in any case. He said, no, one of the boys was the boy that selected to do the arti for Swami on the sports meet day. So he has to leave, and that was his spot that was in the lion itself. So I said, oh my God, wow, okay. I was again baffled, but I said, nonetheless, okay, I'm going to go. I'll definitely come. And it so turned out that green is my favorite color. And every photo that has green, the Swami, whether there's something with green in it, I always take to it. And as Swami says, green and emerald green is a healing color. And it so happened that on the day of the sports meet, I ended up in the green lion outfit with one of my juniors that was there. And yet again, that day, I still, every time I look at the pictures, look at memories of the day, I always think back and, Swami has never once let me down in anything. Whether I've asked him or whether I've just said it in my mind to Swami, anything you want, kids, I can tell you wholeheartedly, whatever you want, never forget this. Swami is always there for you, no matter what it is, what you need, when you need it, whether it's early in the morning, late at night, middle of the day. Don't ever hesitate to ask Swami for anything that you want with your whole heart. He's always there for you. He's always there for me. He's always there for everybody. Swami will never let us down, and Swami will continue to guard us, and keep us safe forever. With that, if there's any questions, I'd like to answer them if anyone has any questions.
Bro, that was absolutely awesome, and thank you for getting someone from India that's currently in the Prashanti Mandir group to actually come and sing for us. So I know Marisha actually has a question. That's our guest actually has a question to ask you. Then I know Darshi, you had a question. So after Akka Marisha, you can then ask your question, okay, Darshan? And then we'll go around. I'll then get the others. Okay, Marisha, you can ask.
So, not really a question, but more, I think, acknowledgement. When you're a girl that goes alone to Prashanti Nilayam, you are absolutely safe because of the discipline of the boys. Brother Rahul will tell you that they do not even look in the direction of the girl. They walk. They look down. They don't even look at your shoes. And you feel safe because everybody there is your brother. And the discipline that we find in Prashanti Nilayam from all of the students, that is something that we can really look at our young people and teach them the same values, the same morals, and the same discipline. Like Brother Rahul mentioned, Swami has always spoken about how important young people are, and Swami always gives so much of love to these students. And I think that as the SSE teachers that are here, a wonderful thing to implement even in your classes is that attitude of respect that everyone has for each other, regardless of gender, regardless of age. It is absolutely wonderful. And we know that this has come from Swami himself. So Just that. Saram.
Cool. Thanks, sis. Okay, so
100% Sister Marisha.
Darshan, you wanted to ask a question? You can unmute and ask your question.
I actually didn't want to ask a question. I actually had to go to the toilet.
Okay. 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 Rani, on the username Rani, that got their hand up. You can ask a question to Anna Rahul or Akamarisha.
Sairam, Uncle Rahul. I was just.
Sairam, Rani.
My name is Sayan Rampo, but I wanted to ask, what age did you enroll in the college, and did you go alone?
Okay. So I joined the college when I was 19 years old. And I was lucky enough, my mom came with me when I was applying for the first time when I moved. So she settled me down just to make sure that I was okay and I was going to be fine and all of that. And then she left. So I was alone. But when I initially went, my mom was with me. But I can tell you something, darling, that if you go alone to the ashram, obviously not now, maybe when you're a little bit older, if you go alone to the ashram at any time, it is absolutely safe, like Sister Marisha said. It's a wonderful place to be. It's safe for all girls. And like she's saying, the students, the discipline that everyone has. Yes, we aren't allowed to even look at the girls. So it is a discipline that we have to undergo.
Brother Rahul, I just want to add on, baby, another thing I want to tell you is what Swami has said for one of the younger children. There was once a little boy who was going into the res and he was crying so much and said that he really missed his mother. And Swami said, I will give you the love of 1,000 mothers.
1,000 mothers.
So even if you're going alone to study or you're going just to visit Swami there, just know that you might feel like physically you're walking alone, but he's holding your hand and walking there with you too. And as Brother Rahul said, you are so safe. You will be so taken care of. You won't have anything to worry about.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Anne, for the question. Auntie Vasanti, you've got your hand up. Is it Auntie Vasanti or Vishanka that's on that? You can unmute and say, ask your question.
Sairam, Rahul and Vishanka wanted to ask a question.
Sure, no problem.
I want to, Sairam, Uncle Dhiran. I wanted to ask a question to Rahul about the process. Is it difficult to get like into the campus, music campus?
Okay, Rahul, I'm not too sure if you could hear it clearly. So the question was, is it easy to get into the campus? What is the application process to become a student in music at the ashram?
Okay, so it's not easy at all. It takes a lot of patience because they are. Oh, Sairam Kiro, by the way. It is a very difficult process. It takes a lot of time. You have to be very patient because you must remember there's hundreds of students that are applying from, or thousands of students that's applying to the campus from India, hundreds from throughout the world that are there as well. My personal experience, the first time I had applied, I didn't get accepted into the campus. And I was told that I won't be able to get a seat in the campus because all the foreign applications used to go to Swami physically, but the foreign students. And the sir that told me that, it so happened that he was the one that told me there's no way that you would get a seat in the campus. And he was the registrar at that time. And he told me the only way you would get a seat in the campus, so I can give you a seat in the campus, is if I get a sign from Swami. And you believe it or not, when I had gotten my invitation letter to the first interview, it was signed at the bottom Narayan Ramji, who was the same guy that told me the only way he'll give me a seat in the campus is if he gets a sign from Swami. So it is a difficult process. It's not the easiest. You can only apply to the music college after once you complete grade 8. And you would have to do your grade 9 to grade 12 via correspondence. That means distance education once you are at the music college. But yes, nothing stops you from applying. If you are interested, go for it. I would tell you 100% go for it. Keep your focus on, keep your mind focused to what you want to do, what subjects you want to do, and you'll be great. I wish you all the best. That was Darshan, right?
No, that wasn't that. That was Vishankar from the Lodium Sai Center. Auntie Vasanti, Ralton's sister, if you remember Ralton when we were growing up, right? So we'll leave it at that. Okay, so
Can I
there's
ask another question?
Yeah, sure. No, no.
How was the experience singing with the bhajan group? Because it's such a blessing.
If only Brother Sagar was online now, he would have. I could ask him to explain that to you. But I'll tell you from my experience. From the time you walk out from the bhajan mandir into the front with the instruments, I played dholak and kanjira in the mandir. We have to give auditions firstly. You can't just go and say, okay, I'm a music college student, I'm going to play in the mandir. No, there's auditions that take place, multiple auditions before you are selected. The energy that's felt within the seating for the bhajan group itself, maybe it's because we're so close to Swami Samadhi at the time, or maybe it's just the energy from all the boys that's seated there. But I can tell you it's an energy that's not felt if I'm seated anywhere else in the mandir. The energy is wonderful in the mandir, but sitting in the front and having bhajans is something that's unexplainable. It's the energy levels that is on another high. Personally, for you, you can also experience that even if you're not a student. During the Akhanda Bhajans and Shivaratri time, there are many groups that you can join that way where you can go and sing and play instruments in the mandir if you are an instrument player. For example, I think Sister Marisha said she joined the Western Canteen. I'm not sure. You can join the Western Canteen. You can join the South Indian Canteen, North Indian Canteen. There's plenty of groups that's there. The Gokulam, where we saw the cows. There's a group that comes from the Gokulam, and they're also welcoming. They're very, very welcoming. So if you are able to play Nal, you're able to play harmonium, you're a good singer, you're more than welcome to go and join them at any time. I personally joined the Western Canteen once or twice, and it's an absolutely beautiful experience to be performing and playing in the mandir.
Wow, thanks so much, bro. Sorry, Marisha, you wanna say something?
Yeah, just to add on to what Rahul has said, there are also additional opportunities. So if you're part of the Sri Satya Sai International Leadership Program or the Sadhana of Love program, same process, you audition, you practice online before you get there, and you have this opportunity to sit there right at the front, to sing your heart out to Swami. So please don't look at it as being something that only a select few can experience. You can experience this too. Swami is not a parent that picks and chooses favorites. Everybody has that same love available. So start practicing. Swami says you practice your bhajan 100 times. So practice your bhajans, because the opportunity to sing for Swami or to offer an instrument, it's going to be yours too.
So true. Thanks, sis. So I got a question that came by a text, Rahul. So you and I don earrings, right? Both earrings. So the question is, in the ashram, you had to be clean shaven and all of that. Was earrings allowed as boys? What was the rules around the earrings when you were in the ashram?
Okay, so now that I'm out of campus, like you can see the beard, Brother Sagar and myself, now we out of campus, we want to be a little bit fancy. So I don't think anything's wrong with that. I don't think Swami is gonna shout at us for that. But I now wear black earrings solely out of I just like the color. When I was in campus, I used to wear silver loop earrings, round earrings. If you did your Jano, which is the prayer where you wear the sacred thread, and as for a boy, you are allowed to wear earrings. If you don't have the thread also, and if you do have earrings, it is allowed. There is no, there's no like something to stipulate that no, earrings are not allowed. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But what's not allowed is the spikes. So if you look at the students, I still have to use gel because my hair is so straight, no fades and all of that. When you go there to the uncle that comes into the hostel to cut your hair, he only knows one style. He knows a side part, comb over, that's it. You can tell him how much you want to tell him in Telugu, in English, in Tamil, is to go there, Sairamana, Bagunawa, Konchum Chendi, broken Telugu, we'll try and speak to the uncle. Konchum Kacha, he'll give us that whole thing. He's just taking the and just going off. You coming out there looking just like everyone else. That's why we all look like brothers. I can see Jerome last there.
I'm having a good laugh because it just shows the discipline
that
and
was it.
how
So,
boys take pride in their hair. I'm saying it's got to do with how boys take pride in their hair, and at that point you have to lose your pride and realize your higher purpose.
And the thing is, you can't let it grow. We weren't allowed to let our hair grow also because you have to be neat. So irrespective, even if it's growing a bit more, they would ask you, and it's very embarrassing when they ask you to cut your hair. So you would have to go and have your hair cut without or before that happens, including shaving. It was a really big embarrassment if one of your teachers or seniors had to come. As a senior, I had to see to it that my juniors would always be clean shaven. And there was times where I had to go and tell them. And obviously as a senior, you don't want to be a hypocrite and go and tell somebody, you can't tell them to do something that you're doing. Don't do something that you do. So if I have to be clean shaven, I have to set an example to them and be that example. So it was something that we had to abide by. It was a rule. That was a rule as such.
Cool.
But to answer the question, earrings are allowed.
Okay, and with understanding of wearing the earrings. So it wasn't more a fashion statement. It was more a religious purpose of having it.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't see any other questions. So quickly, one last check. If anybody has any other questions for Uncle, okay, now we'll call Uncle Raul and Auntie Marisha. But yeah, Raul, you got a question now. Okay, Auntie Sureya has actually got a question. Sorry, bro. This is Auntie Sureya from Kempton Sai Center. So she's got a question.
Sorry, Lauren, that was just a mistake of my hand, but I just wanted to compliment, the whole session today. We've learned so much from both. And I think that just my comment can be that, you can't replace the actual experiences of people with some kind of book knowledge, So this is all valuable experiences that we are taking, a real life, true story. And we can share the best practices from this in our own lives. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Auntie Sureya. Okay, Vishanka, I see you got your hand up again. So we'll go to Vishanka for the last question, and then we'll wrap up, okay?
Sairam, the wrong question. I just want to say, we're really proud of Rahul. He's really done, us proud by singing with the Prashanti boys. It's really, really a wonderful experience. And Swami has really, really blessed him. So I think Swami gave him a purpose now. So he'll know what's his purpose. And just last week I was asking Pragarsan about him. If Rao can remember, we sat together on the plane when we went to Prashanti 15 years ago. So the auntie they got
Yes.
I always used to tell my children, you were so friendly and so warm and so loving and such a wonderful person, and I never ever forgot you up till today. And I was so surprised that you came on today because last week I was asking Pragarsan about you, and he told me you're in Durban and you're a teacher, and I was so proud of you. He told me you went to go study music in Prashanti, and I said, wow, what an experience. Well done to you, Rahul. May Swami continue to bless you.
Thank you so much, Sairam, and Swami's blessings to you as well. Thank you so much. Dironan?
Yeah. Yes.
If you don't mind, I just want to say, I won't take long. To Sister Marisha, I don't think we ever met, and even though we're just talking over the call and you shared your experience, I don't know what it is, but I just want to share it out there to you. I honestly feel that I've known you for so many years, and it's like as if we were part of the youth. As I feel like I know you as well as I know Dironan, if you're going to put it that way. I think it's Swami's, just through Swami's love, honestly, it's something special. And I hope to meet you sometime and share some of your experiences, or for you to share some of your experiences with me as well.
Well, I have to say it does feel that way. You have a familiar face, and as much as I haven't met you, I do also feel like I know you. And I'm sure that the one stumbling block that maybe you've also felt for today is that the time is not enough. Because when you start speaking about Swami and your experiences, we just go on and on, because Swami's love is just so all pervasive. And when the video started, I'm sure you also felt so homesick to see Vidyagiri Road.
Definitely.
It's one of the most amazing things ever, because no matter where in the world we go, we will never be alone. We will always have Sai family. And it's as simple as just 2 words, Sai Ram, and you feel like you're home. So I thank you for sharing your experiences. It's a look that not many people get, a look into the day-to-day life of a Sai student who has been molded and shaped by Bhagwan's model for education. And thank you so much for sharing that Sai love with us. It's been wonderful to hear your experiences.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, so I'm not too sure if y'all can all hear me too clearly, but from my side, I'd like to thank Marisha. We're talking to kids now, so Akka Marisha and Anna Rahul, or Auntie Marisha and Uncle Rahul, whatever you want to call them. I want to say thank you so much for availing your time. We have run over by an hour, but it was stories well shared and well learned, and for all of us to just be part of it, right? It was for all of us to engage in this wonderful stories of Swami. You know, it's all good and well that that we put just the video, but to get the experiences from 2 of Swami's bhaktas, you know, that went and experienced it for the children, you know, as children yourself at that point, or youth, you know, to go and experience it and sharing it firsthand. I really do appreciate it for accepting my invite. And as you can hear from the questions, you have touched a few people, and that's all that we want, right? Is to inspire and motivate our Balvika's children to be great Sai ideals kids, and also one day go to the ashram and study, and go to the ashram and be prepared for Swami's love. So from my side, Rahul and Marisha, thank you so much for accepting my invite, and Swami's blessings to you all in the thousands for doing it with all your love and grace towards me. So with that, I'm going to end off the session. And Rahul, if you don't mind, I ask you to end it off just with Asatoma and Three Shantis, if you don't mind, brother. And then to everyone, to all the children that joined on, I know we had a more than abundant experience where we didn't anticipate more than 100 people on the call, and our Zoom call was overflowing that we had to create a YouTube link just to get the overflow going. So it was a heartwarming experience to get so much of attendance. And we promise you that, okay, for this year, we won't do any more. But next year, we're going to go on some more virtual tours. And it's just going to be just as exciting and inspiring as it always is. So with that, thank you so much, kids. Rahul, you can close off in prayer for us. And loving Sai Rams, concentrate in your exams and tests, kids that are coming up. Be safe and be safe with the virus and everything at school. Okay, kids? Okay, thanks, brother.
Asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय. Om Sai Ram, everyone.
Om Sai Ram. Thank you so much to everyone. We'll see you all again. You may all exit the call. Thank you so much.
Om Sai Ram.
Om Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, everybody.
Sai Ram, everyone. Sai Ram, kids. Take care.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, kids.
So nice to hear everyone Sai Rams as they're going.
Yeah. Sai Ram, kids. Sai Ram, moms. Sai Ram, dads.